What's happening, YouTube? It's your boy BigJusLaFlare from that Facts and Cap podcast. And once again, we back, baby, at the LaFlare Lounge with it. Hey, man, make sure y'all subscribe, like this video. Now, let's cut to the chase. We're going to get straight to it. Ksoo's dad is speaking on himself, testifying against his son. His son is Ksoo. The dad is Abdul Robinson Sr., right? So Abdul Robinson Sr., he's facing an accessory to a murder charge for one of the murders that Ksoo is attempted on having. Not even attempted, it's a first degree murder charge. And it's the murder of Lil Buck, right? Now, we all know that Ksoo is associated with Young and Ace in that camp. And according to them, I'm not saying this, we got Young and Ace who said that Ksoo is about that life and he'll shoot you and he's a shooter. And I mean, Ksoo done been on, you know, had mixtape covers with allegedly some of the people that he done killed, face on it. It's real demonic out here. So Ksoo was accused of snitching a few days ago. I mean, Ksoo's dad, Abdul Robinson Sr., he was accused of snitching against Ksoo and their other son, his other son, who's fighting a murder charge as well. He's putting up a post on Instagram explaining why he's snitching. Now, it says, if it was me and my daddy, Shaka RIP, in a situation like this, I would have been freed my daddy a long time ago, no matter what my consequences would have been. No justification needed, especially if he's a good/great daddy. That part. He could do more for me out of jail than in jail/prison. Who would leave their daddy in jail to rot? Especially when you know he innocent. It would have been stood up and said my daddy ain't give a fuck thing, ain't got a fuck thing to do with nothing. You niggas and bitches out in the free world talk that talk until it's time to walk that walk. Facing a life sentence. Hashtag free good/great dads. So I just think this is weird. Just the perspective is weird, where he's saying, you know, who leave their daddy in jail to rot, and he's saying that he's just speaking about the son like the son is the father. You get what I'm saying? Like, they speaking like Ksoo is the daddy and Abdul is the son. No, you're the father. Ksoo's the son. Now, I'm gonna be honest. If Abdul Robinson Sr. actually had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with this, which we're about to take a look into this, and I really don't believe that he didn't. It's no way that he didn't play a part in this to me. But the way that he's speaking is as if he was like bamboozled, and maybe they told him one thing and he was tricked into, you know, being involved, and he didn't know what was going down or whatever it may be. He's speaking like he had nothing to do with it. Now, we all know a lot of people, they cannot come to terms with they committed the crime sometimes, and they got to do the time. But I ain't gonna hold y'all. Let's get to the news clipping. This is the orientation on how this beef and how this situation all started. And I'm putting this up there because it fits into the motive of why his father, Abdul Robinson Sr., why he would want to be a part of this crime of a murder of a kid.
This family deserved this.
Posted on the fire with D and then we get money.
So that's Willie Addison / Boss Goon. He is the stepbrother of Ksoo and Ksoo's other brother who's fighting the charge. This is Abdul Robinson Sr.'s other son that got killed.
Willie Addison was shot and killed after a rap event at Paradise Gentlemen's Club last month. He was in the truck with 5 other people. His dad, Abdul Robinson, was driving.
I guess 2 or 3 cars pulled up on the side of us, shot inside our car over 100 times, killed my son in the front seat, shot my son in the back, in the head 3 times, shot my nephew several times, a couple more passengers in there was shot several times, numerous of times.
Mama ain't dead crying on the news.
And I drove all the way from there to Memorial Hospital. Shot in the back myself twice.
Your daddy got shot after that. Your daddy got shot after that.
It's a story hard to imagine, but Robinson says it was reality and he had to act fast. He says he's been through a lot, including his own trouble in the streets of Jacksonville, but today he wants to clear the air.
Did 11 years in prison, got out 2009. Haven't been in no trouble with the law until a couple of months ago. Nothing serious. And we not getting the same treatment as a victim. Not saying the police not working or doing their job. I don't want to say that.
More breaking news.
All right. So this is already disturbing me. Abdul Robinson Jr., you was in jail for 11 years of these boys' life. You did your own thing in the street and you served time for it. You did consequences for it, right? So don't tell me in your Instagram post how you the greatest father. And you might be a great father when you was available to them, when you was actually outside of jail, but it might have been too late already. So for you to be doing time and do the 11 years, you were absent in these boys' life. You weren't able to shape and mold them and to tell them to stay out of the streets and to keep them out of, harm's way. And you left them for the streets to raise them. And we all know the streets don't raise nobody, right? It's only about 2-3% of people who really make it out unscathed when you get in the streets. So already, just your absence alone did not make you the greatest father that you're claiming to be in that Instagram to me. So I'm already not siding with you in this situation.
News this afternoon, the father of Jacksonville rapper Ksoo will testify against his own son in a very high-profile murder trial. This according to brand new court records first reported by First Coast News.
On your sides, Ann Schindler broke the story just a short while ago and joins us from the newsroom. Now, Ann, this is a major development in a high-profile murder case.
That's right, Keitha. I mean, anytime you have one family member testifying against another, that's a big deal. But in this case, in addition to being father and son, both are reputed members of a local gang that's typically ruled by the Code of Silence. Now, according to court...
Now, they already saying that you was a gang leader of this ATK set. Now, I don't know how true that is. We know that the news can get shit wrong, but let's keep that in consideration.
Court records, the 51-year-old Abdul Robinson Sr. has agreed to cooperate with prosecutors in a high-profile murder case in which both of his sons are charged. Prosecutors say that in January 2020, Hakeem Robinson, who performs under the name Ksoo, murdered Charles McCormick, who went by the name Lil Buck. Robinson Sr. was charged as an accessory after the fact in that crime and faced his own murder charge in a separate case.
Y'all heard that? Did y'all hear that? It said she just said that he was charged, Abdul Robinson Sr. Let me make sure that said Hakeem Robinson Sr. and not Jr. Because I could be wrong. I don't want to get this wrong.
Who performs under the name Ksoo, murdered Charles McCormick, who went by the name Lil Buck. Robinson Sr. was charged as an accessory after the fact in that crime and faced his own murder charge in a separate case.
So they're talking about that Abdul Robinson Sr., the great dad, the dad of the year, who should have been spared, already had his own separate murder charge. So if you got your own separate murder charge and you already went to jail for 11 years, why are you snitching about an accessory to murder charge? You are not a good father, my guy. You did 11 years and you already facing another murder. They saying you you the head of the ATK. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm trying to figure out how this makes you a great father in this situation. And you just look like a punk ass nigga because you already facing the murder charge. You might go down. And you already snitching on your son. You throwing your sons under the bus so you can be an accessory to murder charge when you already facing the murder charge yourself?
Case. He faces 30 years to life, but if convicted, his cooperation with prosecutors could play a role at sentencing. Ksoo has helped popularize the genre known as murder rap, celebrating the violent deaths of gang rivals. He's also accused of the murder of Adrian Gaynor, aka Bibby, whose name appears in the viral music video Who I Smoke. Police and prosecutors say all three Robinsons are members of the gang known as ATK, or Ace's Top Killers. Now, Hakeem Robinson has pleaded not guilty. Jail records show that his dad has been moved out of the Duval County Jail.
Hey, man, listen. I look at it like this, man. It's two ways. Now, if you were a good dad that you said you were, which I disagree with, and you saying you had nothing to do with the situation, and we all know that sometimes our sons and our daughters make their own choices, then I wouldn't even be mad that Abdul Robinson Sr. was snitching. That's not even snitching to me. He's telling on his son to get freed because he didn't have nothing to do with it. But if what they saying is true, that you already got a separate murder charge that you fighting, and then on top of that, you got a situation with your son where you was an accessory to murder, aka probably they're saying like you was the getaway driver and y'all was running and hopping fences together and all that shit, you helped them get away, then you deserve what you get. And that's what I'm leaning towards, that you weren't the father that you're putting out there. And my whole thing is, if you gonna be a snitch, this is what I hate about the snitching shit, right? You didn't even have to say nothing. You could have just went and snitched and went on with your life. You had to live with that. I'm not gonna kill you about it. But when you get like you like 6'9", like y'all snitch and then y'all gotta try to justify it. And instead of taking accountability for the situation, you had the motive to be there. Don't think because you was driving the car that you really didn't commit the murder. You took them there to do it. These are your own sons. You committing crimes. You sliding with your own children, and you got the motive for it because your other son got killed, and so y'all sliding on the ops. Like, just say that, you know what, I ain't want to accept that. I ain't want to accept the time. It is what it is. That's why I ain't want to accept it. I'm 51. I did my time. I'll at least respect that more than anything, even though I don't really respect you at all. I think you're a terrible father. I don't think that anything that you said in this post is the truth, because a real man would just go ahead and accept his charge. It's not even about, spending your time. It's just like, yo, I did it. My son, I failed my son. Do your time. Do your hard labor. It is what it is. You made your decision, and then your decisions in life later on played a role in how your sons was brought up, and they did the same cycle as you, and now you facing your own murder charge. Ksoo facing 2 murder charges, and then Abdul Robinson Jr. is facing Krazy K. He's facing a murder charge as well. So you failed your sons. You're not a great father. Boom, that's me hitting the gravel as a judge. And you know what? It is what it is. If y'all are accused of what y'all accused of, killing these people, and I mean, the evidence is looking pretty strong against Ksoo. Like, I mean, he killed somebody allegedly in front of an undercover cop. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Do y'all think that Ksoo daddy is a fucking rat that's just trying to wiggle his way out and won't accept accountability? Or do y'all think that he's justified by what he's saying and that he shouldn't have to go to jail because of what his sons did, even though he may have been in the car helping them out? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Let's have a discussion in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. And we out, baby.
Our Daddy channel. Subscribe to our Daddy channel.